Alright, well, g'day and welcome back. So we're just doing a little bit of an update video today, once again, obviously from the title of the video. What we cover in these is just the changes that I've been making to the base and the surrounds. If I've gone through any sort of little changes, what I do is just create this little update video. So, in terms of everything on this side of the build here, we do not have too much to report other than a new private little door that I've decided to add in here just to give some privacy to the residence entry for the Carpenter, because his entry, his private entry is here and his little subletted apartment is down here as well, downstairs. And also there's a back entrance here to the collector's residence that comes via this gate as well. Now if you haven't seen the build videos for the collector and also for the Carpenter, they're available on a playlist just called Hobbiton build. And I'll put a link in the top right hand side of your screen for you for that playlist. Now in terms of the big changes that have gone ahead of late, here is one right in front of me here. So we spoke about the waterfall in our last update video that we've added in to the Botanic Gardens. And what we've done now is created a little bit of a retaining wall and planted it out, so that when you're coming from the NPC town centre, which is going to be over here in this section, don't mind all those fences there, that'll be in this section here and also over up in this section where all these fences and whatnot are as well. So there's going to be all that space there. I'll put, I don't know how many NPC buildings, probably a few, half a dozen. So what we've done is we've added the waterfall in, and that's sort of meant to be a part of the whole sort of Botanic Gardens precinct. Now these little arches were part of the update as well. So I created a couple of those to do a video that was sort of explaining about all the changes. And I thought, well, I need to house them somewhere. So what I've done is, and I think they work in pretty well actually, I decided to just sort of throw them in as part of the walk here. Now, since the last update video, we've sort of thrown a little bit of a, sitting area in here as well at the base of the waterfall. We've done a little bit of planting around here as well, which I think's looking pretty good. We've also planted a couple of trees here. I kind of like the idea of the waterfall kind of coming almost through the trees, and the trees that I chose are sort of the ones that grow sort of very much upright. Now, a couple of the reasons why I wanted to kind of have the waterfall be like that was I wanted the light to be a little bit sort of muted in a lot of ways, because the original reason why I didn't select these blue blocks was they were really, really bright. I was actually thinking in the beginning about using ectoplasm block, but it just looked sort of too weird and didn't look enough like water. So what we've done now is sort of muted that down a bit. Now I've created a little bit of a gap here between the, I guess the little fountain or the little base area here where all the water is. I've just thrown that there just to see if it can, if it looks any good. I don't know if I'm happy with it or not. Just wanted a water feature in there. So what we've done is just sort of added a couple of the city wall block here. And that's what all of this path and all the rest of it here is made of as well. So, and we also use the tarred shingle roof block as well to sort of create a little bit of a, an interesting looking divider there between those two spaces. So we've now sort of put a little bit of that in place. Now the other part that I've done, I guess it's kind of in a way connected, is I've now planted out the entry into where my residence will be, because my residence is going to be over here. Now the eventual plan for this is going to be that I may or may not, I don't know yet, I've still got to work it out. I may have this stream come along the wall here, and I might make a little sort of mini forest up here as well. Still haven't actually decided on whether that's going to be the case or not, but what we have done since the last update as well is we did create a bit of a stream that's coming off the waterfall, which comes down to Flameborn's cafe here. And again, you know, Flameborn's cafe did have ectoplasm block in it originally as the, you know, quote unquote stream, but because I made the waterfall out of, you know, the blue block, which looks a little bit more like water, I kind of wanted it to be a little bit more sort of thematic and a little bit more, you know, looking like it actually was water. So what we've done now is created a little bit of a stream here. I may fill those edges out at some stage with some flower soil or with an edging of some description, like with the city wall blocks here. But what we've done in this little section here now is, I guess, sort of starting from the top up here. Here's your stream coming along, and what we tried to do is create a little bit of a, I wanted it to be kind of like a playground actually. So what I wanted to do is kind of create a little bit of a dual purpose zone here. So on this side we have a little area here for the kids to just hang out and jump on the trampoline. And they can just kind of hang out and sit by the water and mess around in the water and stuff, while all the parents are all eating down here at Flameborn's cafe. And for this side, I wanted to have, and I've sort of changed this around since the last build as well. I've taken the chairs out that were here and put a set of stairs in and thrown some tools and whatnot, and there's a few more plates and whatnot around here as well. But what we've got from here is right next to our pizza oven, we can kind of come up into the garden area here, and the people who work at Flameborns can come up and grab some tomatoes and some capsicum and some corn and whatnot, and use those on dishes that are made at the cafe. And they've also got their own little beehive here, which I thought sort of, you know, filled a little bit more into kind of the mythology, and, you know, just to make it a little bit more interesting as well. And what we did among that as well, and this again, this kind of, you know, it all, as I mentioned it numerous times throughout this build, it all kind of ties in, so I've got to sort of think on multiple levels. But what we've done is we've now created a fence around that as well, and this is going to be the outer limits of my little garden space. So I probably, you know, I wasn't really that concerned about kind of having, you know, a dividing space, but because hypothetically the cafe is its own space and the kids are going to be messing around up here, even though I am meant to be the proprietor of Flameborns myself. Well, so I was possibly thinking, you know, I'd like there kind of to be a bit of a delineation between the two spaces. So, and as we were discussing in our last video, this is kind of intended to be the little forest part. Now, I'd created all of these tombstones and whatnot as well, just for my build video and just to show you all the new parts and whatnot. I may make a little sort of cemetery in here, I'm not really sure. I may just change my mind completely and just have you know, just a little forest in here that's sort of very, very thickly sort of set out. I don't know as yet. I haven't sort of really worked out how far I'm going to get with it. And as we were discussing last time as well, I intend my build is probably going to start around about here anyway, sort of just where this little rock ledge ends off, and it's going to go all the way over to the wall here and all the way up to, you know, the back wall up here. These trees are all just for demonstration and to remember, so I can remember what trees are what. And as we were discussing last time as well, this is probably going to be, you know, my entry, and there's going to be a second floor entry here. So I'm envisaging that I'll have sort of a longer part of the build that starts around about sort of here and goes, you know, in towards the wall, pretty close into the wall, and then the building won't actually start sort of going out. My home base won't actually start going out till around about here, and it'll maybe come sort of along this kind of zone here. Now the other part of what I was possibly going to do with the build is very similar to what I did with the waterfall, sort of with this. I was thinking if I made the waterfall come along here, I could actually possibly have a little waterfall kind of coming down, you know, just close to the wall here and running under my house, which could be pretty cool. And then I was thinking possibly I could have like an underground pool in my house, which would be cool, and it'd, you know, take up some space and make the place look a little bit more interesting. So that's probably going to be on the cards. I just had the idea just this morning when I was sort of trying to think a little bit more about what I was going to do with this place. I was thinking the idea may be to have an infinity pool sort of looking out over this. I think that'd be a really cool idea. So I was thinking I was possibly going to put the infinity pool here. I did have thoughts initially of kind of having it sort of over in, you know, around about here somewhere, kind of running just the other side of the residence down here, but I don't know. I'm thinking possibly having it a little bit further along where there might not be as much light pollution between the stall and the residence. Yeah, we'll see how we go. I'm not really too sure as yet. Although, I mean, the tie-in with the Alchemist and the water is, you know, you can see we've got the water here, so it may be okay. I don't know. It's just another one of those things I'm going to have to mess around with. And as usual, it'll probably be just a last second decision I'll make, and, you know, I'll sort of start on it and then suddenly the plan is hatched. At any rate, that's the changes that we've gone through thus far, and where we're at with our progression with everything. I think, I'm just chuffed with the whole build in general, really. I mean, it's bloody fantastic. It's taken me a hell of a lot of time, but I'm really loving sort of where we're at with it anyway. I think from all angles it's looking very cool. I just love those trees. They're just my favorite. I mentioned many times, and they just fill in just beautifully there. I think next time we catch up, what we'll be doing is doing a little bit further on our build that we're currently involved in down here for Valory the Bard. We've sort of begun with her, as you would have seen in our video last week. So I think we'll continue on with that next week, and we'll look at creating some more space for her to show her banners off. And I think that will be where we end up at the end of this one. So we'll keep you up to date with all the changes that have been made. And once again, thanks very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And we'll see you next time on Ready Player One.